Now Heidi wants this thing. Do you know how to use this?
Is that going?
She says yes.
So if you turn your camera on, I would just hit the camera, actual camera itself. Yeah. Yeah.
Is it recording?
Yes, it is.
There it
It is.
That is what we've been waiting for. You're so great. I know Heidi wants me to use this.
Oh my God. Okay. It's been a long time. Probably get one of these. So where's the, does it power?
No one's in the meeting. No one's
Power.
trying to get in. This is up.
Is that power?
I just screwed this again. I can't touch anything. I want that thing to go down, but then I lose everything.
I mean, does it have to be plugged in? Like I can't even turn it on?
Everything about
I don't.
What? Did you turn the camera off?
No.
Here,
I
did
keep-
she show you how to turn it on?
Okay.
I don't know. I don't understand. I am recording.
Let's,
You need an alternate source because it's not gonna pick up everybody at all.
I'll work on it while he's.
let's call this joint meeting to order. We're having a little trouble with Zoom, so I don't think that's gonna be online for us, so. We had an item that we added to the agenda. It'll be number 6. It's on, it's Barton LaJudas and the municipal building needs assessment. I had it on my agenda. I don't think it made your. Yeah, but.
Oh, got it.
The other side of the house. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, this is Mary Ann's last joint meeting, so
Oh.
thank you for your years of service. You know, it's almost over. It's our last meeting, so congratulations on moving on.
And what's the next endeavor? What's the next endeavor?
I can't hear you.
What's the next endeavor?
Travel,
Travel.
spend more time with family.
That's awesome.
That's me. Sorry.
This is gonna be a good one. So I just wanted to recognize Mary Ann, 8 years as supervisor. You know, wish her luck.
Oh, yeah.
2 as mayor.
10 as village trustee, 6 as school board. A lot of years. 19, yeah.
So anyways,
Well, thank you for that, and I've appreciated everything that, we are special that we're stronger together. I don't know how many municipalities that work closely together the way we do, so that's been a good thing. So thank you.
Gotta do it.
first item on the agenda was the recreation shared services agreement. I don't know where you're at. I know the
We're
committee
closer.
here.
And Randy and I had a conversation today and I think there's, we thought it was just a number thing, which we agreed on a number, but there's another aspect of it we're gonna talk about that just sort of came up in the last few days that we'd like to see if we can look that out before we,
Let's do scheduling.
Which we can,
which we
Oh,
can.
we can.
Okay,
we can.
okay, well then we will.
So it's just a matter of finishing it, then we'll get it out.
Ah,
Probably we'll have to,
Before everybody's next meeting.
before everyone's November meeting, it should be done.
we can-
Okay.
we can do it. So,
It has to do with scheduling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's indicated on that.
in the agreement, so that,
Scheduling.
there really
things.
wasn't time to change the
Because
agreement.
it's become a, might as well say, we're become a little bit of a headache. It's the way we pay now, is we pay you guys during 2 different fiscal years for you.
Yeah.
So, and it's always been, I mean, for whatever reason, it seems to be confusing. So one of the things that we thought is we'll just pay, both our payments will be in one fiscal year for you, so at the end of the year. So it'll be both in our fiscal year and in your fiscal year.
And there won't be any, this is
Self-included.
last year, this is this year, this
Right,
is
right, right.
next year.
So by doing that, it's in both, it's self-contained, both in our fiscal year and in your fiscal year. and avoid some of the apparent
Confusion.
confusion.
Okay,
So that's all we gotta work out, and I think our discussions, I think it's gonna work out.
as long as the rec committee is, can
Brilliant.
agree to it. I'm good with it.
Well, we'll put the final touches on it.
Yeah,
I'll offer it up.
hopefully we'll have it for you guys for the November.
No, we won't.
I know Barb's been polishing, but.
It's not enough. apparently.
Okay, anything else on that? Either board?
I do have a question. So is it the intent that this particular agreement is going to be reviewed every year?
Yeah,
And that the
until-
exact agreed upon amount is gonna be in the,
that's where we're gonna
That's a
work.
short-term
Yeah,
plan,
that's a short-term
to-
plan.
to
until
get back
until
to
it gets back
50-50.
Yep, until we get back to the,
50/50,
to the. 50.
the original intent. right.
Yeah.
But we thought we would put
It's
it
gonna
in
be another-
writing how it
Another
is.
year or two at the most that,
Yeah.
that it's gonna be like this, but yeah,
Okay,
adaptability.
monitor and adjust. That's what they told me. Teaching, you have to monitor and adjust.
I like it.
Monitor and
I like that.
adjust.
anything else? Okay, next item was to discuss the Zoom, use of Zoom at our meeting. We talked about it, well, we've talked about it at each, board meeting separately. So
I got it. I'm not.
it's, we wanted to discuss it here together as a group and see where, we all stood in this. I think some of us have some very strong opinions. But
And we talked about it in
yes, who would,
communications and technology together. so.
okay. Where does that end up landing with communications and technology?
Well, I can sort of lay out the 4 key problems you can say that we're having with it, and then what our recommendation is. The first problem is a question of accessibility. Despite pretty extensive time and effort and even expense, we have not been able to make a video conferencing tool, make this work well enough that we're truly accessible to people who are Zooming in. So anybody who has Zoomed in knows that with the exception of maybe if we're a small group up in the boardroom, this is not actually working effectively in terms of you're not able to hear everyone. And there just tend to be lots of problems. So we're saying that we're accessible. In practice, we're not able to provide that. The second issue is the accuracy or lack thereof of the transcript, of the live transcription. So we have had several instances where board members have been saying whatever they were saying, but that has been incorrectly and even sometimes offensively transcribed in the live transcription. So that raises concerns for board members, obviously, and really is, we certainly wouldn't want something like that, an error like that, to be perceived as part of the record, right? So there's a problem there. The third problem is pornographic Zoom bombing. Do I need to say anything else about that? Nope. Number
By
4,
definition.
the fourth problem, the fourth problem is in terms of our clerks, both municipalities' clerks' time and job. And their primary duty during these meetings is to be able to take really good minutes. And the work of managing Zoom, making sure that people are let in from the waiting room promptly, responding to the comments in chat, for example, when people are experiencing problems, which they often are, or dealing with things like Zoom bombing. This is all work that is taking the clerk's attention from the job that they're supposed to be doing. And to the point that we could, add to our staffing, that doesn't seem to this committee to be a very feasible idea For one thing, it wasn't in any of the deputy clerk's descriptions that they would need to attend meetings when they were hired. And that would also be a question of time and money. So that's where we're at. And I think we have tried to solve many of these problems, and the committee would like to continue trying to solve some of these problems. For example, we want to look into other technologies for video conferencing in addition to Zoom. We want to look at transcription, talk to text transcription services, see if there's something we can use instead of Zoom that would not have those problems. Ultimately, the ideal would be to have a building that was built to have all of the appropriate equipment and acoustics. But anyway, that's what the committee would like to continue doing. But for right now, we'd like to recommend a moratorium on using Zoom for our meetings. What we would suggest doing is that, except for the extraordinary circumstances under which both boards have local laws, that we will only use Zoom to record, but not for live attendance. And so we will use Zoom to record probably within 5 days or something. Those recordings would be posted, same as they have been. So people who wish to view the board meetings after the fact still have that opportunity. But we do not deal with these issues by doing live Zoom video conferencing, except of course for the case of extraordinary circumstances that we have the law allowing us to do. In the meantime, the committee would, do that research that we discussed. And I think we have some questions about what is permissible in the law, and just some general questions about how we might still be able to use the technology well without dealing with these problems. So one of our concerns is that by even just recording with Zoom, that live transcript problem is not going to, that's not going to be fixed. So that's still going to be an issue. But we think it's the minimum level of issue that we can go with right now while still providing the recording to the community. Did I miss anything, members?
And the Heidi is in contact with the Committee on Open meetings. We're trying to absolutely do it by the letter of the law, and she's had a great ongoing conversation with them about this. So
the laws that were passed, we both passed them for extraordinary circumstances. It's still in effect.
Yep.
They may sunset.
Yes.
That's one of the problems. But right now, it's still a legitimate way to do it.
Mhm.
If, say a board member had to be absent.
Yep.
And wanted to participate, we can work that out.
So can I just maybe make a suggestion in terms of adding to the research? The school board has experienced similar issues, especially with audio.
Mhm.
And they're mic'd. They're now they have microphones. So I don't know, I have no idea, but it could potentially help with the transcribing live because no. Okay. All right.
Maybe. I mean, it could.
I am new
Yeah.
technological anybody,
Mhm.
but I do know that it has helped with them in terms of being the audio piece of it. And I just, again, I don't know the technology and I don't know if that has any impact on the transcribing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
we can check with this.
That's a good.
Just a thought.
Yep.
Because is it worse? Are our challenges worse when we're in this biggest group?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
But in the same.
In this
case,
room too.
In this
Yeah.
room,
Oh, yeah, that's
This room.
Yeah.
Yeah.
the school board meets in the library, which is also designed to not promote acoustics. It's designed to
Sure.
dampen sound, so it's going to be by definition
Mhm.
worse at
Sure.
some, and they happen to have their meetings in it. So
Yeah.
it's unfortunate.
Yeah. So just
Yeah.
and thanks for working on it because I know that's been an issue.
Comments? Further comments?
I just have one question. So if there's no live during the meeting, but it's recorded afterwards, is it still gonna show the closed captioning for the hearing impaired on the recording?
Yeah,
Just a technical
yes,
question,
yes.
because I did have somebody approach me
Yes,
about, the hearing impaired.
yes.
But that's also.
But that's gonna be wrong. It's not gonna
That's
be
also a
accurate.
problem.
Okay, all right.
And the other thing to know is that when we upload into YouTube, YouTube transcribes it. And not sponsored by anybody, but YouTube's transcriptions are better. So hopefully there's a better, that's a better
I know that,
recording for people.
yeah. Perhaps we could also check in with some of the colleges, because I know that I've had recordings and we've sent them to a company to do all of that, to make sure that it's accurate. There are companies. So.
Sounds expensive.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
It's a thing. It is,
Yeah.
it costs money.
Well, I think we'll just take, we could use a motion to accept the recommendation of the,
More
Committee.
committee. So do you want a
Do you wanna
motion
go
that we
first?
you go
have a
first.
moratorium
Yeah.
on Zoom? Continue exploring ways to offer, access.
But it's Zoom
second.
live during the meetings.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's what.
Did you
Second.
make a motion?
Second, sure.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Your turn.
The motion to, put a moratorium on using Zoom. To record the rest of the live attendance.
So,
To the second.
Right.
You for the discussion questions. All in favor, say aye.
hi.
Very good. The next item is the Veterans Banner Program. I think we both talked about it at our separate meeting. An option that came up that we wanted to discuss together. And I think, did you bring it up? No. You brought it up. Didn't you come up with the alternative idea? Yes.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk about it here, and that's why it's on the agenda. To see if there's any interest in pursuing that idea, or if we're gonna carry on with what has been planned. I know we're
Want me to
working,
recap my email to everybody?
Good idea.
well, go ahead.
Basically, my idea was, because there was talk of only putting up so few, it'd be nice to have one set location where we could set up six. I'm just gonna round off figures. I'm just saying there's 100 banners, put 25 poles, put 4 banners per pole, have a nice little area, maybe I thought Willow Island, outlining outside, so it doesn't fall up, people can walk down the park and see the banner. Because right now, even if we did it the other way, think about when you're going through some of these other towns and they have them up on their telephone poles and you're driving along, can you really read them?
Or
I
should you
can't.
really?
I can't, especially when I'm trying to watch the traffic in front of me. So it would be nice if you could go to a location, not have the worry of being in traffic and just at your leisure, walk around and see these nice banners. That was my idea.
You saw the emails that, I distributed today from Dorothy. Dorothy was the big push on this. She would still like us to consider moving forward on what the original plan was on polls in the community. Had you done any research? I know you were talking about, where you might be able to access polls and expense of doing that
I
kind of thing.
reached out, but I haven't gotten a response back from a couple of our actors, just asking, okay. Labor or across the day, maybe procure the polls for us and do a better deal we're gonna get. But I haven't gotten a response back from,
Okay.
contacted us, I can reach back out.
Okay. Because we're gonna have to make, you know, a final decision here real quick, because I have to do some planning, you know, in the village. And, you know, whatever's gonna happen with, you know, in the town. So I don't know what your board's feeling is on the rest of that. I know you discussed it at your board meeting. You know, in terms of expense, I was donating the 35 brackets to put on the poles so that that part of it wasn't coming out of taxpayers' funds. And I know you had some feelings about that too.
If it was planned right and done right, you know, Canton's always been good about raising money for and things like that, parks, whatever it may be. And I think this is one of those items that you should be able to raise money without doing a taxpayer. I look at it from the standpoint, I got a lot of uncles who were military, so my father, he served in World War II. He was a village trustee. You know, he made it back. Luckily, he made it back. So I ended up with a wife and 2 kids and 2 grandkids. And so I don't have a problem. And, you know, I put up $1,000 and then probably feel cheap because that's all I wanted to put up. towards that. So, but, you know, and I think it can be done, but can we, you know, is it going to be, we need to sit down and talk about how it can be done as a unit, or are we going to do that, you know, like the plan is, put them on this street, whatever. But I don't think that, I think we can do it without, you know, having to use taxpayer money to do it. I think.
Well, as I've been thinking this through and, you know, the contact, Mary Ann and I both have been involved in this for a while. We can get started with the first group and put them in on poles in the village. And then, you know, work on this other idea, maybe that we get them all up at the same time. You know, the equipment you buy to mount them can be reused.
Absolutely.
So it's not like it would go to waste.
Yeah.
If you came up with, you know, this idea of putting all of them together in one location.
I'm just concerned about what 25 poles seems like a lot in Little Island Park. And we're also have a grant to do stream bank stabilization there, the phase 2 of a 3-phase project thing that we've already spent a lot of money. He probably could tell us the number. But the second phase is very important, the stream bank stabilization, because it's so it doesn't wash away there. So I think that's a factor we have, if that were a choice, we would need to see how that dovetails with this.
Well, Barb, we're not married to Willow Island.
No.
Oh,
It
no,
was just an
you mentioned,
example of a
yeah,
place that
of a
this could be
place.
done.
That was my concern about that.
You know, it
Is
just-
that in the river? It could be anywhere.
You know, it just popped in my head, and I don't know if this would be too secluded or not. But what about Partridge? The walkway and walking
Yeah.
around, so then they're
Yeah.
separated some, and that could be part of the trail. I don't know.
So for the town, you know, there were applications for Pirates and Morley. The Pirates applications have been pulled back by a member at the VFW. So right now we're looking at, for Morley, and I think there was 15 applications, so the brackets were under $500 at this point. But we also have to grapple with the idea of who's gonna put them up. So, that still has to be decided if we move forward that way. I really appreciate it, John's idea, because I do find it distracting. The more I thought about it and driving through these communities, it is very distracting. And unless you pull over and really look and read, right? And to have them in one place, I just think it's powerful. Now, I know the Village Park, that they have a portion that is for veterans, right? But why not celebrate even more in a different place, right? So that's where we're at.
I can I can support starting, then see if we can come up with something on a more permanent basis. I mean, that may be a solution to get started for next spring, put the first 35 up. And then, look at, what some of our other options are.
I think there could be there could be a few other options. It maybe Parch is a terrible idea, but it was just popped in my head. As a trail that's a little bit longer and would be necessarily as concentrated. I'm concerned about that.
It's not dangerous to walk and walk, like it
No.
is driving.
No,
But I think Barb is right about, what we have going on in Willow Island. And there's gonna be quite a bit of work done down there, stream bank
So,
stabilization. So that may be, in conflict.
we might have some youth who would be willing and interested in doing some fundraising, potentially in combination with the VFW or something, like if we're talking about fundraising, I think you're right, Jim. I think that this is something that would be really meaningful to a lot of people in the community, and I bet it wouldn't take much to raise money. But it also would be good to know, what's a full cost installation and stuff, and I appreciate that there could be some companies who might be interested in willing to
it's easy to, like
donations to.
a 24-foot 6x6 pole, 4 foot in the ground, you got a 20-foot sticking up. They're $132 a piece,
133,
132,
132.
for
Right.
24-foot, 6x6 treated pole.
Jim.
No.
I know, no, but that's a good ballpark, because I didn't know if they were a
But
couple $100 or whatever.
that's, and, yeah,
That's not that
there
much money,
might-
actually.
I might use the
The
source for,
installation.
and that's a square pole rather than a round one, but don't know if it matters, but
Doesn't those brackets can be bolted on?
that could be bolted anywhere.
They don't have to be strapped.
Yeah.
They can be
And-
bolted.
Yeah, and how many can you put on one? Like kind of before, if you sit
I think you could put- I don't see why it could.
Well, if it
put
wasn't
four
on a
on-
roadway
maybe.
where you have to look at it at a certain angle.
So-
They're doing it in other municipalities where there's 4 on a pole. Yeah, 2, they're
Yeah.
stacked and there's 2 on each side of the pole.
Well,
Then my question was, Mayor, I understand there's a new subcommittee.
Yep.
That has been created. And
I
is
have-
it gonna be a rotating, the original plan 2 years ago was to have a rotating, somebody wanted to put in the second year. And then the people that bought those flags would take them and then another round. So I think that you have to look at that question too. Is there gonna be a continuously rotated application process, if you will?
Well, I'm meeting with Dorothy probably the second week in November. Talk about this. I see if we move forward this year that we would start with, the first 35 we committed to. And then, look at these other options, give us a little more time to think about it, so we can get them all up at the same time.
Obviously, it was a very poor plan in Richmond. Because sounded like a great idea. Young people, my family, a lot of
Yeah.
banners, whatever, everything was supposedly going, then all of a sudden, for some reason. All ended up, but now.
There's a couple of
So
reasons,
now
I
here
think.
we are talking about it, but then. Say what the village wants to do, what the town wants to do. I don't know, do we need a committee to discuss it, or maybe we don't?
Well, I gotta meet with Dorothy. She has to meet with me when I get back. I'll be out of town first week in November. And, you've seen her emails that she thinks we're moving forward on our original plan, so.
I didn't forward that email.
Oh, okay.
Because it just.
I forwarded it to the
Yeah.
to the village.
It seems, I mean, it's.
Dorothy wants to go with the original plan.
But you're right, the original plan about rotating.
Right,
35 that are up now would come down and there'd be a new 35 next year.
right.
Or the year after, whatever.
We'd keep all the hardware in place, so the next year it'd be a little bit easier to do the work. The number 35 was picked because it's about capacity.
When they come down, the banners go to the families. Then we'd have to ask for them back. We did something permanent.
Yeah.
That's a process.
Are you saying like right now, the village is gonna go ahead with
Well, that-
35 regional and that's what you're gonna do? And so it'll be up to us then to decide
That would be,
what we're gonna do.
that would be my
That's all we-
compromise in this thing,
That's all we need to know.
you know,
If that's
because
what you're
if
gonna do.
we move forward with 35,
Okay.
then, you know, we can explore this other idea that may have more value.
Okay.
The investment, you know, is the same right now.
And Rensselaer Falls did, you know, the historical society took over that and they put it in the park. So.
And they put
Yeah,
five, they have five,
What?
of
They
them.
have five
More.
more.
Yeah.
But they also didn't have to deal with National Grid.
Right.
Insurance.
That's the big thing is you have to have permission from National Grid and the village has to have the liability insurance to cover it. As with the town. And there's a process of filling out all that paperwork and working with Andrea to
Yep.
get that approved.
Right.
They have to approve the polls. It's a step by step, right?
Yeah, there's a little miscommunication that went on. And just proceeded that caused the problem. So,
I mean, it seems to me that there's, you know, both projects could be pursued, right? I mean, we could in fact find some locations. I'm thinking it would have to be multiple locations for it to be permanent because that's a lot. And you know what Mary Ann was saying about the, you know, Morley and Pirates as well. If we, you know, try to put 100 poles or 100 banners in the village, is that really, you know, reaching out in all the ways that maybe it's intended to and reflective of the whole community? I don't know. But I also, I'll just say for the purposes of saying, I actually enjoy driving through the small communities and seeing them on the road as well. I don't, you're right. You're not spending a lot of time looking at them and memorizing names. That's true. But you see their faces and you learn a little something about the community and what and who's important to them. And I don't know, I think that's okay too. So maybe there's, you know, because we are talking about a large number of banners, maybe there's a way to do both that, you know, would sort of meet everybody's needs or, yeah.
okay. I think I have a direction.
We'll take it further.
Okay.
It's a really great project for existing. I think we all do.
Yeah, and nobody's against it. I think it's just totally just. Look, it's better than general.
Okay, the next item is the MOA for work in the court office. That has been circulated. Been a bit of a process for the court to get the wall finished and some painting done. And the court has the money that came through. Where's that come through? The
So this is the Justice Court Office or the JCAP grant.
JCAP grant. Okay.
Yeah, that we have already received. And due to construction issues, the full amount wasn't spent.
Right.
So we need this agreement for the village to do the work. And we've had to amend our budget accordingly. So the money, the work and money has to be spent by February 13th of 2026
Yeah.
to keep that grant.
We, I ran this by Tim and Scott. I wasn't gonna make any commitment for either one of them. They both could agree that this is doable for them. So, as Mary Ann said, we have to have an agreement in place on how this is gonna work out. So that's really what this accomplishes.
You need a motion?
I need a motion.
I move that we accept the memorandum. The justice.
Second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All yours, Mary Ann.
Need a motion to enter into a memorandum of agreement with the village to do justice court office renovations for the amount of $12,884.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Okay.
Any further discussion or questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Carry.
Okay, number 5, sustainability program and 64 Main Street. there was a report that the Sustainability Committee, put out on where we stand right now on this whole project. I don't know what we wanted to talk about with this other than where we're at, and where we're headed.
I would
Those
just
of you-
say also, though, just this afternoon, Megan Richardson forwarded, she'd been contacted by,
Yeah, yes.
Okay. sorry, Megan Richardson sent this along to Kara and I this afternoon. She was contacted by a man who's Ag and Natural Resource Program Manager for Cornell Cooperative Extension. And he's working with a thing with the Nature Conservancy to implement small projects that would focus on creating small biodiversity enhancement habitats or pollinator habitats in the 5 counties, which we are one. So I would just say this is a thing we might be able to. He was curious if this was something he could do in our area. We certainly reach out to him. Because he had said the magic words, we have funding for all the plant material and we'll be utilizing labor from local master farm gardener volunteers. So I will be reaching out to him. And we'll
His
see.
expertise and dental funding seem like a good fit.
Yeah.
64 Main Street.
2 check pluses.
Mhm.
So in addition to the report, that's a good thing for next year.
One thing I'll pull out of the report to mention is the November 8th workday. The time has yet to be determined. But as far as the work itself, we'll just be sort of closing things down, getting rid of those wood chips and distributing them to the places where they were supposed to be, the back portion of the lot and in the rows between the beds. And closing down the beds for next year to help manage and mitigate weeds, manage weeds, that's fine, say that once. Manage the weeds and get ourselves a fresh start when spring rolls around in 2026.
I really appreciated the comprehensive report. You know, that was really great.
Yes, no problem.
So,
Was that your doing?
100% her doing.
Megan, you have that for the minutes.
With some discussions with Barb and Kathy.
Yeah,
gave
you
some
did all the work
pointers.
and we
I
just
can
said,
get one
"Oh, we're
from
fine."
them.
We'll send it. It's on the drive.
Okay.
Anything else to add? Questions? Concerns? Okay. Number 6, Barton and LaJudas and a municipal needs assessment. We've been talking, Scott's concerned about obviously the heat and air conditioning in this building, and, you know, where we're at with it aging out to begin with. Our engineering firm came through and looked at the building and did a review of the building. We sent prints down to them, you know, the old blueprints that we had in this place. We couldn't find a lot of air handling system, but Scott's been up in a lot of this and there's some real issues that he has. And he's just concerned that we don't find ourselves in a position where we're dead in the water. I don't have a proposal back from Barton and Judas. They were supposed to put a proposal together for what the expense would be to, you know, come up with a pre-engineering report for us to review. Go from there. But Mary Ann asked that we put this on the agenda. We had hoped to have something to both boards tonight, but they hadn't got it wrapped up. So
Window replacement, is that also part of the conversation?
well, I think we need to make window replacement part of it. There were several things floating around. You know, heat's a problem in a couple of places upstairs. Maybe an opportunity to bring hot water heat up there and you know, bring some baseboard heat up to help out in the wintertime. Generally, that's the biggest complaints we get. There's problems with how air moves anyway, and a lot to do with flex stuff up there. So, you know, Scott's been looking at a lot of that. He has some concerns. So I think we're gonna have it looked at so we have an understanding of what we're facing. The air handling unit, you know, that's a bit of a problem. you know, it's old, you can't find parts for it. They've had to go to eBay to find stuff sometimes, so. So that's, you know, what we're facing right now. There's 2 new boilers in there, high efficiency boilers, but there are, you know, some other components here that we have to look at.
And hasn't one of the boilers been already replaced in the past?
No, there's 2, well, there was 1 boiler down there.
Right.
There's 2 fairly new ones down there now. So, and, you know, right now, we're not in a position where I can talk about how much. But it's coming. So we just, you know, have to have that on our radar.
How much, what are you looking at? Move the air,
Mostly it's the
HVAC.
HVAC, you know, air handling. You know, there's a unit out in the side yard
Right.
for air conditioning.
LED,
And the heat.
Okay.
The boilers, 2 relatively new boilers there, but it's the air handling piece.
I'm gonna look at the flooding aspect of it, the building too,
The what?
the water we get.
Oh, well, geez, you know, there's a lot of things that are wrong.
But that's not part of this study, is
No,
what I'm saying.
no.
Okay.
Um,
I'm asking.
So it's a review of where we're at and what the possibilities are. You know, a pre-engineering report will give you an idea of what expense may be for the work.
I'm pretty curious what they were looking at.
And then windows, we want to find out about windows. We had money at one time to replace windows. Turns out there's asbestos in the caulking, and that was going to cause. Yeah. But windows are a big piece too.
Yeah, I'm looking at a really fun one right there.
So.
Question why that exists.
So that's what was on the agenda to, you know, make sure everybody was aware of what, you know, what we're facing. And there'll be more to come.
Year-old building, we're gonna talk about it.
Yeah, it's coming. Well, we also know what it would cost to build a new one,
We do.
so
Well, we did.
we did.
We did.
So,
That's 6 months ago.
yeah,
Things change in a
oh,
hurry.
yeah.
I'm sure the prices have come down.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. At any rate, that's where we're at. I don't know if there are any other questions from either board?
You
Okay.
expect to get something soon.
Yeah, we thought we'd have something soon. Okay, next item for us, village only, is a resolution to meet the requirements of the Municipal Parks and Recreation Grant Program. We have got to do this resolution, and Lee can probably explain it a little bit better, but it authorizes, I think, myself and to be signing contracts. Lee, do you wanna? Yeah, go ahead.
The. I don't know, you work them together, it's a requirement that you accept the funds and designate the mayor, the person as mayor, as the individual can sign documents.
There was a question.
I have a
She
question.
texted me.
I have a question.
I have a question. So I just wanted to ask, usually in these contracts, we're pretty familiar with them, but this one is a little bit different because we would be, I'm afraid to open the iPad, it'll start dinging, but something about the, thank you, about the authorized and directed to agree to the terms and conditions of any required deed of easement granted to set of acronyms that affects title to real property owned by the municipality and improved by the grant funds. That just feels very broad and very blanket before we know anything specific. So I didn't know what,
Is
do
that
we know any more about that?
like, what would we be getting an easement for?
Yeah. What we're
It
giving.
made me a little nervous because it had to do with deeds.
Unusual for
I
grant
don't know if
language.
I know exactly what the answer to that is, but, I know that any improvements that are made, the property has to be a parking opportunity, basically. So we have to do with that.
Makes sense.
If you
And we
have
get into
questions on
that
it,
in several places.
we should schedule a meeting. So we wanna ask that, this is part of the template resolution they provided to us, but if you do have questions, you probably could table it and do it after reading the 14th of November.
And does that set you back on your timeline?
Not.
Okay,
The original paperwork received had requested some items by early November, but in discussions with the representative, she said, you don't need to do anything until I come up there and meet. We wanted to even schedule a call and ask questions. She said, you can ask them all when I come up there for the site visit.
oh, okay.
So it seems to me that, there's not an urgency to do it now if you have questions. And if you're, and if there are unanswered questions, you'd be more comfortable waiting and staying to wait.
And you are meeting on the 14th and we meet on the 19th. So
So we could do it.
do it on the 19th.
We could,
I mean, that's,
Yeah.
I'm just putting that out.
well, yeah.
I guess I just.
If you want an answer to the question, we wait
I
till the
mean,
19th.
I feel like that's yes,
I
I
just
would.
like to understand.
Yeah.
I prefer the.
Yeah, if
That's
it's
fine.
not gonna get, yeah,
Nobody wants to hold up the works, but if it's nothing's happened till the 14th anyway.
I think that's a good question to get answered.
Yeah.
Do you need a motion to table?
No,
It's not.
we
like
just
next
table it.
week's. Great. Good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Lee.
Yeah.
Okay,
We didn't even.
last item is public comment. Is there any comment from the public? Toby?
We are in the Irish Settlement Road in the town of Canton. I'd like to address the problem of Zoom use at the meetings. My first statement is that I've been in this community for 41 years. I came here to install and implement the first 250 microcomputers at one of the universities. I have a bit of a background in solving global problems. Even professors who preferred to use their computer as a place to hang their coat instead of using it for the design purpose. Implementing a moratorium without a deadline to report back is, in my mind, an example of where you want to hang your coat. I'm very disturbed that you are giving up an opportunity to reach out to the public where you already have problems. You also took away the public comment at the top of your agendas, which was an opportunity for people to speak to issues that are on the agenda. Now we can only speak to things you've already done. The moratorium's a done deal, but there's no timeline to get something accomplished. What you're trying to solve with respect to the deficiencies of Zoom is not rocket science. You are not the first people in the world who've had these problems. Have you reached out to your IT folks that you hired to do your computer work? Have you reached out to the IT departments of the two universities, which are quite capable and professional? Have you reached out to the web? God forbid you did a search and found that there are fairly easy solutions to this. I'd also ask, what is the data that you have on interruptions of your meetings? I'm aware of two. You had one interruption during the pandemic when you were starting to use the process, and you had one a few months ago. That is not a reason to throw out the system. Zoom may not be the best solution. A quick search reveals that Microsoft Teams, Cisco's WebEx, Google Meet are all solutions which have addressed these kinds of problems. They can be implemented fairly quickly. Why do we need a months-long moratorium on a system that should be implemented and improved as you go? I'm very concerned that you're throwing out an opportunity to reach out to the public. Again, you all have a perception problem. I talk to my neighbors. I request their input. I try to find out what they're thinking about. I try to get them to this meeting. It's tough.
It's very tough. And I know you don't like what I'm saying to you. But damn it, solve the problem instead of pushing it down the road. It's really something you need to work on. Because I'll tell you, people are not happy out there. The constituents are not happy. And you are feeding the problem of disrespect for this group, of which I happen to have a lot of respect, or I wouldn't have been coming to these meetings for the last 8 years. But I really think you need to solve this problem and do it quickly because the answers are out there. Thank you.
Thank you, Toby.
But I don't disagree with you, but
I know you don't.
but from where I'm sitting, and so what a moratorium does, and we've done moratoriums on other things, what the moratorium does is allow us to take time to investigate those things. But if we don't do that, then Zoom is going to be at our November board meeting, which is a couple weeks away. I've sat at a board meeting where I'm telling you, it's can't even describe the pornography that comes on there. And I'm telling you, Kobe, it was on there. And so I asked the question, if I'm seeing it there, is someone seeing that in their home? And I was told, yes. And so I don't want to sit here and support something like Zoom that's going to send that into someone's home. And so we put a moratorium on long enough to figure out, can we solve these problems? I asked the question when we talked about Zoom last time, can we put in a 2-minute or a 3-minute delay so that whoever is running the computers has an opportunity to shut that down? But I think, we all feel that it's a very good tool. I mean, during the pandemic, it's what we had to do, and it worked. And we didn't have the issues that have come up since that time, and we have used it for committee meetings and whatever. And I was one of the ones that had a problem with it right off and I didn't even know what happened. I said something at a board meeting and it got closed captioned as something entirely different. That was very vulgar. And it was the town clerk that said, and I didn't know it till a month later when they were doing minutes or whatever, it said that, well, he didn't say that. Well, actually what it was, someone called Heidi and said, I can't believe that Jim Smith said that. And Heidi said, did you? It wasn't on there. It was on there. And it was showing at their home. I can't, for the life of me, condone that happening. So if those problems, if somebody can tell me those problems will get taken care of, and down the road, I don't care. Like I said, you're saying months and months and months, but I think we're committed to try to make it work. But as of right now, to me, I think it needs to go away because I don't want to go into the November board meeting concerned that something's going to show there that I don't want to have to go in somebody's home.
You, sir, and others have been talking about this problem for at least the last 6 months. I do not deny the fact that there was an issue. Absolutely not. And I'm certainly not in favor of miscommunication from you or any other board member. But why in the last 6 months hasn't there been an improved suggestion as a replacement? We're now going to cut off, kick the can down the road. There's no timeline to resolve it when solutions exist. That's all I'm going to say. I appreciate your comments, Jim. I really do.
Can I just ask a point of clarification, Mayor? Wasn't it said that a moratorium, we're gonna record it, but there's not gonna be any live,
Not gonna be live, it will be posted,
it'll be posted as a recording after the meeting.
yes,
Is that what I heard properly?
yes.
Okay, so the recording's still gonna occur, just not live for someone to watch during the meeting. But if I wanted to watch it as soon as it's posted, I'd be able to, is that correct?
Yes. Any other public comment? Your name?
Comment on the veterans flags.
Yes, your name, please.
My name is Peggy McBath.
Okay.
For the record, I am a member of, the Freedom Committee, but my comments tonight are just my opinion. The idea, just putting it out there of having the flags not fly on the streets. Here's why, I did not like that idea as a person that has committed to 2 flags, one for my father, one for my grandfather. When I first saw the flags in other communities, I saw them because I drove through other communities. And the first time I saw them, I thought, oh, wow, I love this. This is so neat. I didn't read them. It just said to me, this community is proud of their veterans, and it is a way to honor their veterans. If we go ahead with putting the first 35 flags on Main Street, or not on Main Street, I know that's not on the streets of Canton. Because there were over 100 applicants, obviously the second round, if you go ahead and move them off of Main Street after that first initial round, in my opinion, you're gonna have some very angry, disappointed people, sponsors. The sponsors are paying for the flags. Now, if I'm gonna pay like almost $200 to have the flags put up, and the guy in the first round got their flags on the streets where everybody could see them, and my flag is on the Remington Trail, I'm gonna be very unhappy. I'm not gonna buy a flag. So that's just my opinion.
Thank you.
And for the record, that was just a thought that came in my mind. It doesn't have to be.
I understand that. I understand that. I'm just saying, as an example, Remington Trail, or the park down in the Willow Park. I'm opposed to either one of those. Just as John Q. Public.
Thank you for your comment. Any other comment? Okay. I don't have anything for executive session. Need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Anyone opposed?
Motion to adjourn at 7 o'clock. To the second? I'll second it. All in favor? Aye. Good.
Okay. Come on.